Well, good morning, everyone. We're back in 1 Corinthians chapter number 9 this morning. And if you remember yesterday, we talked about removing anything that would be a stumbling block for others, anything that is other people are struggling with, we would just refrain from. And it doesn't mean that you're universally refraining from, you just wouldn't participate in those things that are lawful for you in the context of that relationship. And we do that, if you remember from verse number 23, and this I do, Paul said, for the gospel's sake, that I might be a partaker thereof with you. And so the goal was to encourage people to do what's necessary to see people saved, to see people come to the knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ and have their lives changed. Until they have the Lord Jesus Christ, they really can't experience the true deliverance that can be had, the one that we're experiencing. And so he goes on and he gives us really the manual or the training instruction for the Christian life. And what's really crazy about this is that I'm assuming that Paul was looking at the dedication of an Olympic athlete. And I think this is where we miss the point on not taking our liberty. Because see, an Olympic athlete can eat In-N-Out Burger every day if they want to, but they just won't be able to compete at a higher level. They can indulge in the things that are not specifically stated as illegal for competition. And then the only thing they would lose is their ability to compete at a high level. They could do anything they really want to within the confines of being within the law of the land and within the regulation of Olympic Committee regulations, all that stuff, or competition. The difference is they just won't have the stamina. They just won't have the muscle tone. They won't have the things they need to be who they ought to be. In fact, that's what the Apostle Paul says in verse number 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." So Christian life, run in such a way that there isn't a prize you can't win. Verse number 25, it says, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. No, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible." Think about this. He's saying these people are going to get their medals or their wreath or whatever it is, their laurel, whatever it is they get from their competition. They get to wear the belt or whatever. But that'll all degrade and fall apart. It will become as useless as everything else when the world all burns. And God says, but the athlete or the spiritual athlete is the one that has a prize that lasts forever. And so he says, why don't you run in similar fashion as an Olympic athlete? Of course you can do that, but I wouldn't do that because culturally speaking, our world is falling apart because of that. Let's just avoid that. Or people are stumbled when they see that. And my responsibility is that I would live in such a way or represent Christ in such a way that no one looks at me and turns away. In fact, he goes on to say that. He says, "I therefore so run," this is the Apostle Paul speaking, "not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest by any means when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway." And he's basically saying that I do whatever I can to make sure that I don't tarnish the image of Christ and the gospel message for whoever I come in contact with. A lot of times we're saying, well, I'm strong, I can handle it. If they can't handle it, that's their problem. That's not the attitude of a strong believer. That's not the attitude of the Apostle Paul as he went out to try to reach people. He said, I became all things to all people that I might win some. He stayed within the confines of biblical law, but he went as far as he could in sacrificing personal preferences and personal liberties, rights, privileges, so that they wouldn't get in the way of the gospel. And so if you want to have a really good, fruitful life for the Lord, then stop trying to say, well, the Bible doesn't say I can't, so I can, and start saying, what will get in the way? And let me get rid of it so that I could be lightened for the ministry. I hope that helps you have a great day.